Hello, this is Matt Boone, and this is my presentation for Unit 3 regarding the Sharp Printing AG case. Presentation's really not to review the case so much as it is, given the material, what would I do as the project manager? There's also several questions along the way that I'm hoping to provide some answers to as the project manager. Questions such as, was senior management appropriate creating this estimate? What type of estimates are best for mission critical projects such as this? And then just try to bring some detail to those questions as I go, along with the pros and cons of the choices that come out in the meetings throughout this planning stage of the project. So senior management went off site some 3 years ago because they wanted to deliver a new product for a new market, a color laser, and priced it about $200, and it was going to be to small business and the general consumers. But they needed to do a rough order of magnitude estimate for market share, for margin attainment, for what the consumer would want, the price range. They had to estimate a return on investment based on what it was going to take to bring this to market. So yes, they had all rights to bring some sort of an estimate back to the organization. And I thought they did a really good job, because a rough order of magnitude is somewhere between -20 and +60% from the right number. And when it comes out through the rest of the case, they were off by 20%. So they were well within margin. But yes, they have every right to bring back a strategic rough order of magnitude estimate for then their subject matter experts to dive into to make sure that the estimate is good and they have a case to go forward with the right duration of this project. They also came back with general specification, deliverables, and a launch date. But the first thing that they did was come back to middle management, where they got a lot of agreement. There wasn't a lot of concern. There was basically was minor concern. So from that standpoint, I, as a project manager, would probably want to meet with these middle managers and just make sure that everything was brought up now that they've had some time to think about it, just to make sure that everything gets out on the table. Lauren was appointed project manager. She's got 15 years of experience. She's really good experience with bringing printers to market, but she's uncomfortable at this point with both the time and the cost for this project. So what she did is a great thing, where she got significant stakeholders together to form a work breakdown structure, or basically decomposing all the deliverables into a small activity of probably 1 pay period or less, so she could more accurately estimate the durations, the roles, the cost, all associated with those activities, and then roll those up from a bottom-up approach to get a total number for the project. And she was about 20% higher than what senior management came to them with. So really, she's well within the range. Senior management was well within the range. It might be a big number, but percentage-wise, it's in the range that project management methodology says are good numbers. So management, if you back out that 20% overage number of 1.2 million, management must have come in with 6.25 million, where Lauren's group came out with about 7.5 million that the project's going to cost her, again, about 20% in a planning stage at this point. Also, the same thing with time, that Lauren's group came out with about 4 additional months to do the project. And again, depending on when it started, 4 months is not that bad. It's well within the ranges of, if they took 16 months to plan this thing and they started with 20 months to go, 4 months would only be a 20% deviation. But now they have the work breakdown structure, so they can study the network diagram, the work breakdown structure, and know the impacts of where the early starts, late starts are, where the slack is, and how to save some money if they did need to crash this project. The other items that came out of this meeting that Lauren had were changing scope, reducing the scope perhaps, outsourcing some of the parts of this project, using a priority matrix or knowing what has to be constrained, what has to be met, where we can add some value if need be, and then what could we push in case we wanted to meet one of the triple constraints. If we wanted to meet schedule, could we move cost a little bit? But management's going to have to come in and give us those options. We as project managers are enablers. We set up the meetings, we do our homework, we get the work breakdown structure in place, we get the network diagrams in place, we have the information, we document, we communicate, but we set the meetings so senior management can make the decisions on scope change or outsourcing based on what engineering says, or how to use the priority matrix. We set them up, but we don't make those decisions. We're enablers. So at this point, as a project manager, I would just focus based on that I would be an enabler. I would know how to crash my project plan if I had to. I would know my work breakdown structure. I would have my go with this project. Thank you for your time, and hopefully this was somewhat helpful. Thank you.